Hello everyone, my name is Dai Lin. I am a senior researcher at Center for Software Excellence, Huawei, Canada. I'm presenting our paper titled Building the Perfect Game, an empirical study of game modifications, co-authored with Daniel Lee, Professor Korpo Benzmer, and Professor Ahmed Hassan. This is a journal-first presentation, and the paper has been published at the Empirical Software Engineering Journal. In recent years, the market of games has been increasing significantly, with a $159 billion market value in 2020. To meet the rising demands from gamers, game developers are often pressured to work for extra long hours, resulting in the so-called crunch culture. Such a toxic development environment has caused strong backlash from the community, in some cases even lead to certain games being boycotted. One possible solution we think may help developers with player demands is to build and maintain an active modding community. Let's take the game The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim as an example. The game was released on November 11, 2011, and is still receiving updates on Steam in March 2021, almost 10 years after its initial release. Gamepedia calls it the game that just won't die, and attributes its success to its large number of mods. Mods are modifications to the original game created by a group of people in the gaming community called modders. For example, after playing the Skyrim game, a group of modders believed the UI of the game can be improved. So they created a mod called SkyUI 5 that changes the UI of Skyrim to their preference. Today, SkyUI has been used by around 6 million Skyrim players. SkyUI is not the only popular mod of Skyrim. In total, more than 4,000 mods have been created for Skyrim over the years, contributing to the longevity of the game. To better understand how can game developers utilize modding community to meet player demands, we investigated two critical components of an active modding community in a series of studies. First, an active modding community should have mods continuously being developed and maintained. And second, the mods should continuously be adopted by original game players. My colleague Gopi has just presented our study on the continuous adoption of mods by analyzing Minecraft mods on the CurseForge platform. And in this presentation, I will discuss our study on the continuous development of mods by analyzing the mods on Nexus Mods platform. Nexus Mods is one of the largest distribution platform for game mods. We studied the top 20 most modded games on Nexus Mods and collected the information of their mods. We focused on high-quality mods with at least 1,000 endorsements. In total, we studied 9.5 thousand mods, along with their 1.8 million files, 35,000 bug reports, and 109,000 comments under the bug reports. We first conducted a preliminary study to understand the characteristics of mods on the Nexus Mod platform. We then answered two research questions. What is the release schedule of mods, and how well is the post-release support of mods? Due to the time limitation, I will highlight a subset of findings in the rest of the presentation. For more details and findings on the study, please check out our full article on the Empirical Software Engineering Journal. For the preliminary study, we noticed that role-playing games are the most popular games for modding on Nexus Mods, with Skyrim having the most number of mods. In fact, 18 of the top 20 games we studied belong to the RPG genre. We also noticed that the mods of games that provides official support for modding receives a statistically significantly higher endorsement ratio than mods of games without official modding support. This inspired us to look deeper into the impact of official modding support in the following research questions. In research question 1, we wanted to understand what factors can impact the schedule of mods being released, so that developers can leverage the information to create a more active modding community. We found that the mods of games with official modding support not only receives higher endorsement ratio, as we mentioned earlier, but also are released faster than mods of games without such support. Figure on the left shows accumulated percentage of mods that were released on a particular day after the initial game release. We compare games from the same franchise to control for other potential factors, such as the target audience. The XCOM franchise does not have official modding support for XCOM Enemy Unknown, the red line in the figure, but added the official support for XCOM 2, the black line in the figure. It is very clear that mods for XCOM 2 were released much faster. Figure on the right is for another franchise, Dragon Age, but in this case, official modding supports were removed in the Dragon Age Inquisition game, the black line in the figure, which was released after Dragon Age 1 and 2. We can see that with the official modding support dropped, the mods were released slower even though the game is a sequel of the other two. In this figure, we compare the release speed across Fallout and Skyrim franchise. Fallout New Vegas, a sequel, supports the same modding tools as Fallout 3. And in the case of Fallout 4, it supports the same modding tools as Skyrim. We can see that mods for Fallout New Vegas, the green line, were released faster than mods for Fallout 3, the red line. And mods for Fallout 4, the black line, were released faster than mods for Skyrim, the pink line. This finding indicates that supporting the same modding tool across games is associated with faster mod releases. Finally, the outlier, mods for Skyrim Special Edition, the blue line, has an extremely fast release speed, with 42% of mods being released in the first week after the game's initial release. This is because it's mostly a graphical update to Skyrim, making mods easily portable between the two. In the last research question, we look at the post-release support of mods, specifically how and how fast modders deal with user-submitted bug reports for mods. We found that mods on Nexus Mods have a median of 67% of bug reports with the new issue status. In comparison, prior studies report around 18 to 33% of bug reports in Eclipse and Firefox project, having a status equivalent to new issue here. There are many potential explanations, such as the scale of development teams for mods are usually small, and players often install multiple mods on the same game, making it hard to know which mod is causing the bug. Another interesting potential explanation might be related to the quality of bug reports. Through manual investigation, we noticed that many bug reports on Nexus Mod platform have a very low quality. To better understand the quality of bug reports, we use the features proposed by Badenberg et al. The number of itemizations, the number of code samples, the number of stack traces, and the number of screenshots in a bug report. We can see from this table that a very low percentage of bug reports on Nexus Mods provides information along these four features. So the vast majority of bug reports for mods on Nexus Mods are of low quality. One interesting observation is that bug reports for media mods, which are mostly a bundle of media files, have a higher percentage of code samples than non-media mods. We manually checked those bug reports and found that the code samples are mostly configuration files to activate mods. With the findings from this study, we provide the following 4 suggestions to mod developers and mod distribution platforms to support active mod development. First, game developers who desire a modding community for their game should consider supporting an official modding tool. Second, game developers should not only provide support for creating a mod, but also for maintaining it. For mod distribution platforms, they should consider providing tools for detecting conflicts between mods. In addition, Nexus Mods should improve its bug reporting system, for example, by guiding users better when submitting a bug report. In summary, building and maintaining an active modding community can help extend a game's longevity. There are 2 aspects to build an active modding community: active mod development and active mod adoption. To help developers support active mod development, we studied 9,500 mods on Nexus Mods and looked at the characteristics of mods for the most modded games, the release schedule of mods, and the post-release support of mods. We then proposed 4 suggestions for game developers and mod distribution platforms to better support active mod development. Thanks for attending my presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
So, welcome back to the live part of this session on games. I'm Gregorio Robles from the Universidad de Juan Carlos in Madrid. And we have here Dayi, who is one of the co-authors of the paper that you have just seen. I mean, you have seen the video. The paper is entitled Building the Perfect Game, an Empirical Study of Game Modifications. So as you know, please put your questions in the chat. We already have some questions. Sebastian is asking if the most crucial ingredient for an active modding scene is a proper SDK or an API, and if you have investigated this comparison. So Dayi?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's definitely really interesting to think about. What we see in the study is more on the side of whether the game is supported officially for modding or not, whether the game developer provides modding tools for the community. And we've definitely seen multiple aspects that providing such tools would help with the modding community, whether it's in the endorsement ratio, which is how the ratio of endorsements versus unique downloads, or in the case of the speed of mod releasing, having official support speeds up the release of mods. So I would say that it's a really reasonable assumption that a better designed API or better designed modding support might even boost this effect larger. But we didn't really investigate in that direction in this paper specifically. But future work is definitely worth to look into the quality of API design versus the effect on the modding community.
Okay, fantastic. So the second question is about APIs, but now not the design, but migrating from one to the next version. So Sebastian asks if there has been any research on mode API migration between different versions of the game.
Yeah.
Or even if it does, that makes sense, because sometimes the new version of the API is so different that no migration is possible. Could you elaborate a little bit on this?
Sure. I don't personally know any specific study on modding API for game community, so it's definitely something that's really interesting to look into. Having said that, the games, from our previous study, we see that games updates really frequently, right? Say that in a traditional software sense, a software updates once every couple weeks, once every couple months. We call that a rapid release cycle, right? And but in games, we see a lot of popular games release within days, pushing release out several times a week. So that means that the release, the size of the different versions of a game, like the difference between versions, are also very inconsistent. Sometimes it would be a huge change, sometimes it wouldn't be that much of a change. And then we see that there are modding supports that's continuous across multiple versions, sometimes multiple games in the same series, or sometimes even cross games. And we see that people have an easier time when the tool is consistent. But beyond that, what's the effect on API migration? We don't really know much.
Okay, thanks, Dayi. So in your paper, you say that one of the problems is the low quality of bug reports in games. Yeah. And Sebastian asks if it is fair to compare bug reports for games, which are created by general users, with bug reports for regular software, which usually comes from other programmers. So it would, no, he says it would seem a fairer comparison would be game reports versus reviews in app stores or something like that. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's not really investigated in the study itself about the comparison between the game bug reports versus app reviews, but from the giant pool of user reviews studies in software engineering community, we already know that a huge portion of user reviews would cover the bugs of a game. I remember, if I remember correctly, we have a paper before that saw a huge portion, around, like, I don't know the exact number on top of my head, but I think it's around 30% of reviews would mention the cons, at least the cons of the design of the game. So it would be very interesting to compare those the quality of those parts, consider those as bug reports and compare that with this one. But I guess there is also a difference regarding the functionality platform provided, right? As a bug reporting platform or bug reporting functionality, the scope that they support to provide supplemental features are different from just a simple box or star rating review system. Right? So I believe there are a lot of things that platform can do. We're not trying to blame the gamers of reporting low quality bug report, right? Because I mean, to be fair, they probably don't even know the quality measurement we are using anyway. But a lot of things could be done on the platform side to guide users to create a high quality bug report, at least within the bug reporting system, right? That we believe would be really beneficial to provide more meaningful bug reports to game developers.
Okay, thank you, Dayi. So Finlay asks if your suggestions are limited to AAA titles, or do you think smaller independent studios could use them to also build and maintain an active modding community?
Yes. So right now, our study is actually limited to the very popular modded game on the platform, right? So that we can have more higher quality data to look into. But it would definitely be interesting to try to see if the results generalize to any other small indie games, which I hope it would work in general, because I don't really think there's too many findings that I would think would be very AAA specific. Nevertheless, it's worth confirming with the indie games anyway. Yeah, but definitely I would say having an active modding community would be, if not even more, at least equally important for indie games, because they are also on a very tight budget, maybe even tighter than AAA titles to control their scope of development, right?
So then Sebastian in the chat, he points to World of Warcraft add-ons, and he says that would be a nice study. I mean, and I agree with him, because you could see the evolution over years and years of many mods, well, add-ons in this case, and he, Sebastian even says he was a former World of Warcraft gamer. Yeah. Maybe some of us too. So yeah, that would be a nice follow-up study. So what are the next steps? Sure. What are the next steps?
What are the next steps? There's so many more opportunities opened up with the direction in game engineering in general, right? Because we just don't see a huge pool of studies trying to address the issue. Like, even as we were talking at the backstage about the crunch culture in the game development community, right? Although we know traditional software developers are also under stress for sure of releasing, but like, it seems to be very crazy in the game community. So is there anything we can do from the engineering perspective, from the process or tool support or intelligence suggestion or any other kind of engineering support that we can provide to game developers to ease this kind of pressure would be very valuable to the industry, I believe. Yeah. If not to shift the culture of this gaming entertainment industry, at least to ease a little bit of burden from the developers.
Do you know if there are any studies on turnover of developers in the game industry, and how long they are there and how long they stay, etc.?
Yeah, so I haven't done a survey on that perspective of the games industry study, but I personally worked in a game studio before. Before my current occupation, I was a data scientist at a local game company, and I've talked to a lot of developers that they transfer from some giant AAA game making studios that's telling me that this is really bad, and that's driving them away and to join some like either smaller scope development team or a completely different career. So yeah, I would say from a personal experience, it's a big problem.
Okay, that's good. So Corpol has put a link there to more studies from his lab. Actually, the last two papers were from his group and from Ahmed Hassan. So I think time is running out. So thanks, Dayi, for being with us in two subsequent Q&A. It is something fantastic. We had not 10 minutes, we had 20 minutes at all. And I'm looking forward to the next paper, which has a video which will be presented in like 5, 4, 3, and if everything works well, in 1 second.